Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana Harinkyu if you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Today is May the 19th. It is Thursday, and that means that the weekend is almost here. Now, for some of you, you might be extra looking forward to the weekend if we're headed down to Gulf Shores for the Hangout Fest. Now, the Hangout Fest is that music festival that has grown exponentially over the years in Gulf Shores at the Hangout right there on the beach. A lot of big names this year, a lot of acts with Alabama ties, and some changes to the festival this year. Our reporter Tandra Smith is here. She is going to be at the festival this weekend, and I know that you are going to be there on opening day tomorrow, Tandra, but I thought we would just get kind of a little bit of a recap, or a little bit of a preview, I should say, of what's to come, a recap of the news we've heard from Hangout about the changes and what people can expect. So first, tell us a little bit about any changes this year. I know that the festival is going cashless and those type of things. So I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the festival is going cashless this year. They're trying to cut down on fraud and really, I think, make it way speedier for people to kind of purchase and then get back to the action. What they've been telling people that is if they do bring cash to the festival, they can go and kind of go to like a reverse ATM. So you will put in your money and they'll give you some sort of like Visa card or essentially like a gift card that you can use and buy your drinks or whatever you want to at the beach. They're also encouraging that people register their wristbands so they can kind of just tap and not even have to worry about holding on to cards, which I know when you're on the beach, you kind of don't want to carry a whole lot of things. So I think it's one of the many things they're trying to do to kind of, I guess, bring the festival into sort of like a future like state. A lot of festivals around the country are turning to cashless or wristband payment options similar to an Apple Watch or another smartwatch device.
Well, and we know it is not possible, though, from what the Hangout Fest said, to link a card to that wristband. So is that only for Apple Pay or other forms of payment?
I believe so. I believe so.
Well, and that is going to be something again new this year at the festival. I know a lot of people also now don't even carry cash, so this might be something that is welcome from some people. And again, maybe cuts down on some of those lines. And also, we've seen a lot of people too post pandemic kind of moving towards a lot of these touch free type of payment methods. So there is that. There is also rules about water bottles and different camelbacks, things that can be brought into the festival. But there is also a policy where you can leave the gates and then come back in. Tandra, so tell us kind of about that exit and entry policy there from Hangout Fest.
Yeah, so unlike a lot of other different festivals that once you're in or after you're in at a certain time, you're not allowed to, exit and if you do exit, they won't allow you back in. But Hangout's kind of doing something this year where they are allowing that reentry policy, like you mentioned. And I think a lot of these new changes have come from a lot of, suggestions and complaints from people that have attended Hangout Fest in the past. Of course, this is the first one back since both of them had to get canceled throughout 2020 and 2021. So I think they took a lot of those complaints, suggestions, issues that people had at previous festivals, and they're kind of trying to make it just a better, more streamlined experience for everybody that's coming, whether they are from Alabama or if they're coming from outside the US. Because, of course, thousands of people will be coming in throughout the weekend, even though there are chances for rain and things like that.
Well, and we know this is a rain or shine event. So, as you said, people will be coming in if it is raining or not. It's not going to stop people. It actually might be welcome sometimes to get a little bit of a cooling off period there from that Gulf Shores heat. So, Tandra, give us a little bit of the lineup here, some of the headliners, and then tell us about some of these artists who have Alabama ties who are playing at Hangout.
Definitely. So, of course, the big names, we have Megan Thee Stallion, we have Jack Harlow, we have Doja Cat, and we have Fallout Boy. I mean, we have a wide variety of artists from across all genres, not just pop and rap. We also have EDM. We also have indie as well. And of course, there's numerous stages. And the festival lineup, as far as the schedule goes, it seems like they really tried to schedule people around some of these big acts, if that makes sense. There's very little set time confliction. So you're able to go to the bigger stages. And if you wanted to check out somebody on the smaller stages, you're able to do so. As far as some of these Alabama ties, of course, we have Flo Millie, who will be performing throughout the weekend. She's a Mobile native. We also have Zach Hood, who actually will debut this weekend. So definitely very exciting for both of them, considering the fact that they grew up like, less than an hour or about an hour away from Gulf Shores and kind of the beach. So it's more of like a homecoming kind of celebration and performance for them. And then we also have the Head and the Heart, of course. And then we have Moon Taxi as well. And other little, artists, plenty of artists that have performed in Alabama before or have other sort of ties that might not necessarily be that they were born here, but they might have like band members, and they might have people in their crew that have Alabama ties. So in my interview I did a couple weeks ago, they mentioned that it was always like a big thing for them to try and get people with those sort of Alabama ties to show that, like, they started here and they've blown up, but they are also able to come back home in a way.
Well, and it's funny that we're talking about this going into Hangout Fest after the Orion Amphitheater in Huntsville just opened, and they had the first waltz there with several artists with Alabama ties, more than several, quite a few actually. And it's interesting because that kind of vibe, I talked to our reporter Matt Wake about this, the vibe at that Orion Amphitheater opening was definitely different than the music and the types of musical genres you will see at Hangout. So if you are a music fan, if you're a festival fan, you kind of get best of both worlds, right? You get the kind of Americana, rock, folk kind of music at Orion and in North Alabama. Then you can go down to the Hangout this weekend, get some of those bigger names at Fall Out Boy, Megan Thee Stallion, and others this weekend. Now, Tandra, again, I know you are headed down there today. It will be your first coverage of Hangout Fest since starting here with us, and also
Right.
since moving to Mobile. A long time in the making at this point. But from what we know, the Hangout Fest does not have any COVID restrictions. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. There's no restrictions, no need to show any COVID test results or any sort of vaccine cards or anything like that. But I mean, they're still kind of saying the same things that a lot of other venues have been saying, like keeping your distance as much as you can. And if you want to wear a mask, you can. And if you don't want to wear one, they're not really, there aren't any particular policies either way.
Now, Tandra, I will ask you here. I know we talked about some of those big names on the lineup, but I do have a viewer, Betty, who is very interested if there's any country music going to be at the Hangout. So, do you have any country names that you can pass along that will be there this weekend?
Country names. There's definitely country artists that will be performing. I honestly believe pretty much every genre, there's at least one or two artists from that genre, because of course, we have the big hangout stages, you have the hangout stage, and you also have the surf stage, but you have some of those smaller stages and even people that are going to be in tents. So kind of all spread throughout the Hangout Fest zone. I don't know any artists off of the top of my head, but I know there are some on the lineup. I believe they're more towards the latter part of the weekend, so Saturday
Well,
and Sunday.
Betty, I actually just pulled this up, so forgive me. I'm looking on another tab on my screen here. I pulled it up for you. So a couple of the country names you've got Kane Brown, if you're a Kane Brown fan, Maren Morris. I particularly love Maren Morris, so that would be one of my favorites that I would definitely check out. Looking just quickly through some of these headliners here on the Hangout Fest website, and I will leave this in the comments as well so you can check it out for yourself. Those seem to be the biggest names in country music that I'm spotting, at least off of a quick look, and those are both Friday. So those are both acts that will be happening tomorrow. Tandra, it's funny because I don't think those are bigger names in country. I don't think that we mentioned those on our headliners there. But people have different views of country sometimes, right? There's
Yeah.
the pop country and the new age country. And there is also the just very classic Alabama George Strait type country. Not sure if anybody in that genre will be there. But we do know somebody saying that Kenny Chesney has several tour dates coming up across the state. And so, Betty, that might be something you're interested in there. Tandra, you actually have an interview here in a few minutes with an artist that is coming to Hangout. So we're going to let you get to that. But I know you and our other entertainment reporter down on the coast, Lawrence Becker, will be at the Hangout this weekend, providing all of your coverage, your photos, your videos. So make sure that you tune into AL.com and our social media channels throughout the weekend to get all of that information. So Tandra, last question for you. What is the biggest thing that you are excited for? What's the most that you are looking forward to for your first Hangout Fest?
Definitely being around the music. I mean, if you follow me anywhere, I'm always like at a show or I'm always talking about music. So just being around in that music atmosphere, even if the rest of the weekend does kind of get washed out or is kind of hindered by the rain a little bit. I know Friday is going to be very exciting. It's always exciting to see who people are here for, because some people will travel a long way just to see one artist. And then there's other people that just basically festival hop and they don't care where they end up, whether it's the front or the very back. They just want to be around the music. So definitely the atmosphere, hearing some different sets as well. And then of course you can't go wrong with a concert or festival on the beach. So all upsides for me.
Awesome. Well, have fun, Tandra. Be careful out there. Stay dry over the weekend, and we will be touching base with you there throughout the weekend. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Well, we will leave a link here to our Hangout Fest coverage where you can find all of that information. And I'll leave a link here to the Fest website where you can find the lineup as well. So, again, Tandra, I know you're going to head that way in the morning. So, good luck to you. Thank you. And everybody watching, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.